Hello, thanks for joining the first edition of Journalists Hangout this week. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Today on the program, Boko Haram kills 65 in Borno village. Shite rejects proscription as Falana accuses federal government of bad faith. APC blames third party for creating problem between Obaseki and Oshomole. And later on the show, more reactions trade Desmond Elliott's call for the banning of foreign films. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Gani Kayode Balogun, and Ima Bello. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us again. Let me start on a celebration mood. Yes, Journalist Hangout continues to scoop awards from far and wide. Just yesterday, Journalist Hangout won the most outstanding, educative, innovative, and resourceful TV program of the year at the third edition of Prestige Magazine Award here in Lagos. Here is the story as captured by TVC Theophilus Elama.
The crisis plaguing the country has always been on the front burner of discourse in Nigeria. Head of farmer clash, insurgency, corruption, and many other ills take center stage when intellectuals meet. At this forum, these issues were highlighted again. Group head current affairs at TVC News expressed concerns about the level of insecurity in the country.
Our armed forces, our security agencies are proved incompetent, incapable of protecting our people. Begging bandits as a national policy is going to get to that because it will be moving. But I know that if you do not have a strong security as a country, there's no way your economy can improve.
Government is supposed to provide security and ensure that the welfare of every citizen is enhanced. They don't do it.
I'm very proud.
High point of the event was the award given to TVC's flagship program, Journalist Hangout.
To give accolades to the deserving, we like to celebrate achievers in various areas of human endeavors. So when we launched out with the Prestige magazine, eventually with Prestige Online, we now came up, we realized that we need to do more.
Journalist Hangout has shown that a lot of those things that Nigerians do not know, that they wish to know, can actually be delivered to them through a program in a very creative manner and on a consistent basis.
Guests here believe it's high time the youths rose up to their responsibility.
Younger journalists should be hardworking, they should be inventive, they should be innovative, they have to be creative because the competition is very stiff. So you have to come up with bright ideas for the society, for the public to notice you.
I think the Nigerian youth should move away from being lackadaisic. I think we shouldn't be sitting pretty and complaining about what the government is doing right and not doing right. I think we need to be responsive. We need to make conscious efforts to be part of the dialogue.
Mr. Babajide.
Another one from Prestige International Magazine, and yesterday at the Lagos State Chambers of Commerce. Babajide, started again.
Yes, and
I've lost count.
we are grateful. I personally, 7 awards this year and counting. It just shows that Nigerians appreciate what we are doing, and I'm happy to report that even the viewership of our program that is already popular is growing. Month on month, about 20% rise in viewership. It's unprecedented. It's almost difficult for me to believe the way Nigerians have received this program. And it shows that we are doing something good, and it is our desire to continue to give our best. And I dedicate the award to all the hardworking production crew members, the entire TVC family, and our resourceful guests who make it a duty to keep the program going. Some of them come from very far. As you can see, Emmanuel, who is with us today, is based in Abuja, but is here because it's our duty to cause progress to happen in our country. And we can only do that by playing our part and getting the government to know what it needs to do to please Nigerians. In doing that, there are people who have made a career out of abusing us on social media. Some of them lawyers who have not excelled in their profession, but they think that the best way to please their sponsors is to continually run down Journalists Hangout. But as we have seen, these awards are completely antithetical to their own desires to bring us down. It shows that the majority of the Nigerian people are with us, and we promise not to let them down. We promise not to be distracted by the naysayers, because whatever you do, there will be people who hate you. We know that already.
Beef.
Yes. If you make the habit of telling truth to power, if you make a habit of criticizing political parties, big politicians, there will be people who are on their payroll who will now be harassing you because just simple sycophants who will now
they're not even close to them. They don't even
they don't know them.
They don't know them. Yes.
But they've made the habit of simply abusing you. What they want to do is simply to turn you away from that course of action that has made you famous with Nigerians.
GKB.
Well, it has become a pattern. And I'm sure that JH has not even arrived yet. They're just waking up. And I know down the line, the awards will go international. Because right now, as I told you before, and as you are aware, there are people all over the world who wake up 4 a.m. in Chicago, try to go to sleep late to watch Journalists Hangout.
Or especially our 11 p.m.
11 p.m. edition, which is 4 p.m. in central U.S. And wherever we go, people recognize us for who we are. And that alone is enough. Because it's one thing to have an opportunity. It's another thing to use it very well for the betterment of your country.
Okay, I'm just meeting Emmanuel. Welcome to the show. Welcome on board. And
congratulations.
Okay,
yes,
thank
congratulations
you.
On the awards.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, now, morning upon morning and unending grief appear to be the lot of Nigerians in the northeast state of Borno. This is due to the pang of insurgency in the region. On Saturday, suspected Boko Haram insurgents killed more than 60 people in an attack on villages leaving a funeral at Abadu in Ngazai local government area of the states, in what is probably the deadliest attack against civilians in this region, this year. This is another spat on claims that Boko Haram insurgency, now in its 10th year, has been defeated. It's bad they went for a funeral ceremony today, and we couldn't even guarantee the safety of their life. Going to mourn their dead, and this is what we're getting. 65.
Yes, and the toll will definitely climb. The death toll will climb because many injured persons are in hospital. And you know how our health system is. A lot of the people, they were actually paying, in inverted commas, for the attack on Boko Haram in Adua district of Gudumbali sometime last week. The people who rose against Boko Haram, those are the hunters and other people, and they succeeded in killing about 10 of them and seized their weapons. And they said that from that moment they will never they will never allow Boko Haram to harass those communities again. And not far away from this community, this happened because Boko Haram clearly decided to avenge this attack, because the faction of Boko Haram that carried out this attack doesn't usually attack civilians. They attack soldiers. That is the Mama and Nur faction. The Mama and Nur faction is a faction that operates in the Borno North. So they usually don't attack civilians. But when Boko Haram members were attacked and killed, they decided to avenge the killing. And you see why governors of Katsina and Zamfara are always against vigilantes taking on bandits. Because these bandits, or as the case may be Boko Haram, they are very well armed. You cannot take them on and be sure that you inflict defeat on them, because these are people who are chasing even soldiers away from their military bases. So if you must confront them with your crude weapons, they are going to come with rocket-propelled grenades that will deliver serious casualty.
I could defy even your local juju.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, the rocket-propelled grenade within a 40-meter radius will kill anything. Once it's fired,
even though if you have the local...
Forget those ones. Someone that is firing at you with an AA, anti-aircraft gun. How can you, what is it that you put on that you'll be able to survive? Something that's used to bring down a plane. So this is the thing. They don't have, there's a lack of confidence in the armed forces that is making people to, on their own, want to confront these people. But as we have seen, as it has happened many times in Zamfara, and many times in Katsina, our people are not equipped, our vigilantes are not equipped to confront this kind of enemy. So we only encourage the armed forces to be up and doing. Because in Gajiram, where they killed about 15 soldiers recently, the army has not redeployed to that area. They are protecting the area all the way from the garrison town of Monguno. Because you need soldiers to be on ground in those areas. Otherwise, the villagers will come to some harm.
Jide said that governors don't want to encourage local vigilantes. But in a situation whereby, you know, the people are not even seeing any government presence in terms of security, in terms of maybe the local police or the military guys that are not on ground in their villages. They want to, okay, let's do what we can do to protect ourselves.
The result of self-help, well, it's a vicious circle, really. Because on one hand, the main job of government is protecting lives and property. And this, of course, is manifested in the armed forces for external threats and police for internal aggression. But you and I know that due to the expanded nature of the Northeast, Borno is practically bigger than about 10 states put together. It becomes very difficult to really man such a vast area with limited resources that we have as a country. So when people resort to self-help, it triggers a system where an action will lead to a reaction, lead to counter-action, and we come back and do it again and go back to the same circle. For 10 years down the line, we've not been able to find a solution of attacking. Our military bases basically have been used to defend. But most of them, they cannot hold in areas they've won back due to insufficient manpower. That is key to what is happening. As you know, any system that has broken down to the level that warlords have appeared on the scene, this is the symptoms that you see. People will resist, they will be punished, government will come in and make noise. Nobody will come and defend them again. They will resist again, they will be punished again, and the cycle continues.
Iman, this has taken a decade now. It started in 2009, and like something that's just started gradually, it has taken several dimensions.
A life of its own, yeah.
Several dimensions. In fact, there was a time they went to our state capital, our federal capital territory. They were operating there. After a time, they went back to their cocoon. Right now, effectively, we can say for Borno, Yobe, and part of Adamawa regularly, they wreak havoc there. And they're still on 10 years down the line.
Well, yes, and it's a good thing that you gave it a historic, perspective, because, I mean, that's, again, what we should be doing in the newsroom, actually, measuring what's going on. Are we winning this war at all? Is it getting better or is it getting worse? It's a difficult thing because sometimes opinions can be, sharply divided on the matter. The government will tell you that, look, this is what we're doing. We're making efforts. We're doing everything in our powers. We're getting more equipment. They can even blame the previous administration and say, well, you didn't do much about it. And this is very instructive because during the campaigns and when the debates, when the presidential candidate, one particular presidential candidate said that, look, if he were president, one of the things he would do is that he is going to actually punish, any military officer, found wanted, where you asked to go and buy weapons and you didn't buy it. He said people should deserve some punishment for that. Or if you were asked to go and do something and you didn't do it, he said, according to him, he said, when you begin to hold some people responsible for certain things, that's for him, that's another way out of it. But of course, government will tell you that, look, we're doing a lot of that. We think soldiers should be on the ground doing their thing. For me, when this happened, I told myself that this is an opportunity again for a government that is just going into its second leg. It's an opportunity, it presents an opportunity for it to see what it can do about its, security architecture, to see what it can do about protecting lives and property, especially for a government that ran its campaign purely on this ground. That, look, it's going to be the government for security, it's going to be the government for anti-corruption, it's going to be the government for the people. So it's a challenge. And it's almost as if the attack is, a reminder, a very terrible reminder that, look, the danger that you think has been defeated or the danger that you think you've dealt with is still here. So for me, it's an opportunity for this government as it goes into its second leg to reawaken all that it can, especially in the kind of appointment it's going to make in the security architecture, the kind of changes it's going to make, and actually begin to address this problem that you have just, given a historic perspective that, look, you cannot pin it down on one particular regime. It came a long way. It has a historic perspective, what is changing and what is not changing. In the coming days, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of arguments about that. But beyond the argument, you have to worry and we have to say sorry to those, sympathize with those who have lost lives in this thing. They will not be, cowed, or they will not be comforted by blame, trading blame. What will comfort anybody, just everyone, not only those who are in the trouble zone that you mentioned, is the effort government is making to stop this.
Jide, this administration seems to be enjoying a lot of goodwill, as in terms of, I've never seen a government in my adult life, I've never seen a government in Nigeria that Nigerians are as patient or they've persevered this while, tarried this long to give that government a benefit of the doubt. Yeah. The first 4 years, Nigerians are still, well, and it is that confidence they still went to the 2019 poll to still endorse this administration. But what I've seen in the last 3-4 months, after winning the election, I've seen a lot of Nigerians losing confidence on a daily basis on the administration of General Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes, and the president, I think the president knows that because he continues to reassure Nigerians that tomorrow will be better. He continues to reassure Nigerians that he will secure them better than before. And on a particular occasion, he even accepted blame, for the inefficiency or lack of capacity of the service chiefs, because it is clear that security has really embarrassed this administration. And not many people expected this to happen, because we thought that the president, given his military background as an infantry officer, would be able to protect Nigerians better than we are seeing now. But the president probably didn't realize the rot, even in the security system. He clearly underrated things, but he has an opportunity. He still has 4 years. He has an opportunity to make things better. And that will be reflected in the kind of appointments that he makes. I've said repeatedly that they should focus on the job. They should stop saying that they've defeated Boko Haram, because there is no evidence of that. Senator Kyari is from Gashigar local government, Gashigar town in Mobile local government. He has not visited his hometown in 6 years. And there are many big politicians like that. So when they come out to say, oh, we have defeated Boko Haram, they can't go to their hometowns. I mentioned their names because I know that they've not been there. So when security is better in the Northeast, you won't have a situation in which the Speaker of the Borno State House of Assembly...
You better clarify that, so that some people will now ask you that, how do you know? And you tell them that you have the information.
Well, the journalist who has not got sources will ask that kind of question. But this is the thing, when you speak, the people can't go to those areas. Borno North is extremely dangerous. Even the governor, when he wanted to go and campaign in some places, the last time, the former governor, the army told him, don't go. But the Borno governor went and he ran into an ambush. And people were killed, including even soldiers. So this is the thing. It's not difficult to know people who do not. We are friends with these big people. So we have sources everywhere, whether in Aso Rock or anywhere. We'll be able to tell you that this is what is happening with finality. So Senator Kyari has not gone to his hometown in 6 years. I am repeating it because it's the truth.
All right, moving on now. An age-long African magazine teaches us to learn to bail the water when it's still ankle deep. To paraphrase, it means tackling a problem before it festers. After treating the danger posed by activities of members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, IML, as also known as the Shiites with kid gloves, the federal government has finally moved against the group. Now, the government secured a court order proscribing the IML at the Abuja division of the Federal High Court on Friday. But the group rejected the proscription, claiming that they have the rights to freedom of thoughts, conscience, and religion. They vowed to continue with their protests until their leader, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, is freed. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has also accused the federal government of acting in bad faith. Falana noted that the IML was proscribed by the Kaduna state government in 2016, but has continued to operate in defiance of the proscription order. Let's watch this.
Na jin hakan sun ce to yadda za a duk yan uwa su bar bakin hanya su shigo daga ciki can ciki, kuma in sun ga motocin sojoji su suna son su shigo a kyale su shigo, a kyale sai sun shigo sannan sai a dode ya zama sai dai a mutu. Yalai kuwa da yake kasan wawa ya dauka kowa ma wawa ne. Wasu wawaye suka zo wai su suna jogin, wai su ma ko barazo ne oho dai suka zo suna wuce suna haƙi suna ce oho dai wawan banza. Suka koma suka ce kai dangerous, wannan unguwan in ga maku ainihin tarko ne, duk wanda ya shiga ba zai fita ba.
Sarah, when you want to look at this situation, and somebody told me last week that, why proscribing this group? And it's a religious organization, and it's just an arm. It's just like in Christianity, we have Jehovah's Witness, people that are not conventional. Their doctrine and faith is quite different from the normal Pentecostal or Protestant Christians. So what's happening here, GKB?
Well, we expected this. You said on this program in the last 1 year that the government are using the wrong sticks as well as no carrots in dealing with the Islamic movement of Nigeria, which, by the way, is just not about the Shiites. The Shiites are basically an arm of Islam, bigger than any of these small things. It's like banning Ansarudin and saying you are banning Muslims in the Southwest. So I just want to correct that anomaly that people put up on social media. But having said that, I think there seems to be a lacuna between the reality of the IMN and government's reaction to it. We said it on this program before, that there are times that it seems that the forces of the Nigerian state go out of their way to instigate and antagonize these people. And by the way, I said, what you really want to handle this matter that will not cause trouble? Like you said in the intro, if we do not control this on time, we are creating another Boko Haram.
So, we have Boko Haram, as in terrorist organization officially in Nigeria, proclaimed by the federal government of Nigeria, Boko Haram, the IPOB, and this is the third organization. I don't know. This has nothing to do with ethnicity, but most of the time, these people, what they're doing on the streets, I can confirm to you this afternoon, before I entered the studio, my reporter was just reporting that, look, I saw a clip of they've defied the order, they're on the street again, protesting today.
Well, that's a logjam, whether you like it or not. We're there now. What I think everybody's been scared of us probably happened, because there's a defiance now by this sect, and they're saying, look, we are not going to obey any prescription. And you know,
first thing they said was they are ready to die.
Yeah, exactly.
They were just saying it. They're ready to die. They're ready to die.
Just like he said, I think in a way, it's possible for a group to want to trap the government into a place where you turn all of them into martyrs and actually get the sympathy of everyone. And that's almost happening now. You find out that almost every other person is to some extent on the side of, talking about fundamental rights, talking about the rights of these people and everything. Talking about
freeing El Zakzaky first.
Freeing El Zakzaky and all of that. Everybody seems to be saying all of that. But we also need to, in balancing, you also need to look at the danger that the government probably is running away from. The danger posed maybe by the leadership or by the group itself. And they have come out to say, look, no, we're not as dangerous as you think. In various clips, in various interviews, they've said that, look, we're just trying to do our thing and we're not trying to cause problem. But of course, when, for instance, you talk about the clip that you saw where, they're on the streets, and recently, for those of us in Abuja, we came face to face with the dangers of this situation, shooting and killings and all that. So yes, it's not there yet. I don't think it's as bad as Boko Haram or any other thing yet. I don't think it's there yet, but gradually it's going there. And what could have led to all of this probably is because of the disconnect between a group and its demand and the way probably it's been treated. I think going forward, we need to start addressing that. El-Rufai has come out to say that even the federal government has said that, look, it's none of our business. We're not the one holding Zakzaky in place. That it is, it's a Kaduna State problem. And the governor himself has said that, look, he's just waiting for the release of El Zakzaky so that they can put him in court, that he's going to face justice in Kaduna State.
Again?
And that is not... Sorry?
After this one?
Yes, that's what he said. He came out and said that he's going to, in an interview, in an open interview, he said they're waiting for Zakzaky to be free so that they can try him properly, rearrest him properly in Kaduna State. So you begin to ask yourself, the federal government has come out to say, look, no, you are mistaken. It's not our fault. Go to the courts. And we're not the one that caused all of this. And then, of course, Kaduna State government is saying, blame it on us. It's us. These are our problems, our local problem. As soon as he's out, we are going to treat him. But in all of these things, it calls for leadership.
Jide, it's very easy, to start apportioning blame right now, just because we're still having it easy. Now, still having it easy, we've had casualties on both sides. We've had a reporter from Channels Television. We have a deputy commissioner of police, shot, at a point-blank range. And when you look at it now, they are saying that if this group is officially proscribed, it's gazetted by the federal government, the next thing is that they might go underground and they might metamorphose into an insurgent.
Insurgent group.
Insurgent group.
Oh, that is the greatest fear that we have. And I alluded to what Professor Okiari, the Vice Chancellor of Modibo Adamawa University, one of the greatest Nigerian historians, said during an army seminar in 2016. He's the best friend of the current chief of army staff, but he warned that the way the army was going about repressing the group, that it could eventually become a terrorist group. He warned them that that was how Boko Haram started. But soldiers don't like being told the truth. Once you tell them the truth, you become someone they don't like, no matter how close you are to them. So between then and now, you really have to admit that even the IMN or the Shia group have become violent. And since they become violent, it's difficult to blame government for responding with heavy-handed tactics to their attacks on people. If people went to the National Assembly on their own to transact their lawful businesses, and you went about burning people's cars, smashing people's windows, running after vehicles, and throwing projectiles at people, then the police have a duty to put an end to that. You know, just like Trump said some time ago that if you throw a projectile at a security operative, and that projectile is capable of causing bodily harm that could even lead to death, we are not going to wait until you carry a gun before we respond appropriately. So this is the thing. So you can see that people have died on both sides. And when a high-profile police officer, and that was not the first time a policeman will be killed. Even in Kaduna, I remember one of their protests. A policeman was killed in broad daylight. So the truth is, yes, he was initially asked to be released by a court. But the government responded quickly by seeking an injunction. And then the case currently for which he is being held is a case of murder in a Kaduna court, which means that technically it's not even in the custody of the federal government. It is the court in Kaduna that can determine whether he goes home on bail or not, or whether he goes, you know. No, but it's still their own case. So what is it? To say that once he's released, they will do something, amount an overkill. He is already facing trial in a Kaduna court, you know, instituted by the Attorney General of Kaduna State. So if the court says, if they free him this time, then they should release him. Nobody can be bigger than the courts of the land. You know, but for the courts to order someone's release and then you refuse to release, I don't think it's good enough. The day any of us falls victim to non-obedience of a court order, that is where we know how bad it is. So I do not subscribe to their resort to violence. But if the court on the 5th of August says, Mr. Izazaki, despite your threats to the army and all that, go home and treat yourself, so be it.
And then another thing we should be looking at after that, to build on that, is to ask ourselves questions that I think I hear people asking that, okay, look, if you release him, what's going to be the worst thing that will happen? Because this seems to be the demand, release. What's going to be, because people have had those kind of conversations in their private places.
Says nobody wants to live, nobody wants to be his neighbor.
If you release him? What's the problem? Is it that the sect or the group will become more energized to want to do things? What is the fear? We need to also, as journalists, we need to actually explore that angle and ask ourselves, what's the fear?
If the Iranians are calling for him to be allowed to come to their country for treatment, it then means that two things can happen. He can go there and not return to face his trial. So the government will have that fear that if he's taken to Iran,
he could become more powerful.
That he may not come back. They may not release him to come back and face his trial.
The threat will still be real.
Yeah, and the threat, because from there, he can continue to organize his people. It become a real organized kind of mass action. Afterwards.
To explore all of that to know what the fear is, really.
No, I think that is the fear.
That's the fear.
That's the fear that government has.
Mine is the angle of human rights lawyer Femi Falana has accused the federal government of acting in bad faith. He's saying the proscription by the Kaduna State government in 2016.
Cold water.
Yes, that they shouldn't have gone on with this particular one.
I think it's
there was already a proscription.
I think it was a panic measure, basically to react to public criticism of the way they handled matters on Monday. Because it was obvious that these people had given warning before. Even Zaria, if you remember, where they attacked the whole convoy of military officers. And they've been threatening to do this for at least 2 months, that they will come to Abuja and make a case for his release. The government ignored these threats and went ahead to allow them to move near the seat of power. So yes, the lawyer is right. You cannot prescribe an already prescribed entity. It's building something on nothing. Because as far as the law is concerned, IMN has ceased to exist since 2016. So whatever is built on it.
What they are saying is that they are a religious group, not a political group. Therefore, by the laws of the land, You can't prescribe them because prescribing them will amount to an infringement
Of their-
on their right to religion.
The clarity that was brought to that is that the Shiites are not. You didn't ban
Shiites are
Shiite
not banned.
as a religion.
The
or
Shiites
as a
are about 40% of Muslims.
No,
in
the one
West.
that follows El Zakzaki.
The
This
one
people
that follows
El-Zakzaki,
Zakzaki.
they're a different set of people altogether. It's
But
the
they still claim to be
IM,
but it's a
the
religious group.
IMM. No, Shiite as a religion in this country. There are other people practicing Shiitism
yes.
or Shiism. Okay, there are people practicing this religion. They are not exactly these same people.
And they are not all followers of
No,
El
not all of
Zakzaki.
them. We need to be clear
So the
about that.
people
Not all of them.
IML, those are the ones under the law now, as in
Yes, they are the
federal
ones that
government are talking
follow.
about now.
Yes, they are followers of El
El
Zakzaki.
Zakzaki.
Yes.
Okay.
Because people like Adamu is a Shia
It's a
now.
Shiite, yes.
But I don't
he
think
doesn't-
he's a follower
Exactly.
of Usman.
Of El Zakzaki. Okay, still to come. APC blames third party for creating problem between Obaseki or Shomole. Stay with us. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. Thank you for joining us. If you are just joining us, this is Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental here in our headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. The latest in the rift between the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, and Adams Oshomole, and governor of his home state, that's Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, brings to mind a statement credited to the former Vice President of the United States, Hubert Humphrey. It goes thus: to err is human, to blame someone else is politics. The Edo State chapter of the APC is blaming selfish individuals for the feud between Oshomole and Governor Obaseki. Edo State APC chairman Anselm Ojuzia told newsmen in Lagos that the third party is trying to put a wedge between the two leaders to strain their relationship, to be blamed for the crisis. But who are these fifth columnists? Jude, I wasn't around when I started reading about this crisis, but from what I saw, I was part of the election in Edo State 4 years ago. 3 years ago now. And I saw how Oshomole gathered everything, muzzled everything. Yes. At a point in time, to some of us, our opinion was that at the point in time when that whole election was shifted for some weeks, that they said Boko Haram because of Boko Haram attack and everything, because the INEC chairman that day was almost embarrassed. He was right on seat with us. He was meeting with us, and they announced it from the police headquarters in Abuja. The SSL announced it that because of security report, they were shifting the election. But what we saw that time was that, look, if they had had that election, it's not what we're saying that we say. So they were able to recalibrate ultimately everybody, and today Obaseki is the governor. But the rally, I watched one rally, and I saw Obaseki, trade union, everybody coming together and saying, no, the man in Abuja, we don't want you. This is the person we want to continue. What is happening?
I'm actually ashamed that this is happening between Oshomole and Obaseki. Oshomole literally imposed Obaseki on everyone. Nearly all his commissioners supported Oshomole's deputy.
Yes.
All of them. Kazim Afegua, all of them. But Oshomole used his strength as the governor to ensure that it was his candidate, his own candidate, a political neophyte in Obaseki, that triumphed at the end of the day. Well, the rest is history. It is funny that they are now blaming third-party elements for what has happened between them. I think also that the comments that Obaseki had made in this during this whole crisis makes it difficult to even resolve this crisis.
Because I've not heard much from
Obaseki
Oshomole.
has been saying that it's because he refused to open the treasury of the state to certain people that he's facing this.
Yes.
And everywhere, at every opportunity, people who are loyal to him, his aides, they abused the former governor. I was reading one where they were saying that. I was reading where one of his aides was saying that education had collapsed in Edo State, that it was when this person came in that he's trying to recalibrate things. When you talk in that language, everyone knows that the immediate past governor is the national chairman of the APC. And if you say, oh, education had collapsed before we took over, you are saying that Oshomole was a spectacular failure in that area. So this is not how to resolve things. I've heard that the president has said, okay, go and issue a fresh proclamation.
Even the National Assembly, the House of Representatives.
They gave him, they gave him one week.
Yes,
that has expired now. But you see, he thinks that he must control the House. That is why his own preferred candidate, Okie, is the one who is speaker now. But Oshomole has 14 members.
The same party, all progressive.
You know, Oshomole has
a house dominated by the
14 members. He had 9 or so.
15, I think.
Is it 15? 15. Oshomole has 15, he has 9. Now, what they want is, okay, to achieve peace, let the candidate of Oshomole, that's Victor Edoro, let him not contest for speakership. And then my own person too should not contest. So he wants a kind of a situation in which, okay, both of us, there will be no loser, there will be no winner at the end of the day. But the president is saying, let them go and contest. I witnessed the inauguration of the house in Ekiti. Our friends were in the house. We witnessed it. Yeah. Fayemi did not do a midnight inauguration. He didn't do a midnight inauguration. He respected himself. They made up their mind of what to do, the house. And this thing was announced. We knew when it would happen. We were all there. Our own auditor.
Yes.
Festus Adewumi was there. We were there. We knew when it would happen. In this case, nobody knew. Those guys, deliberately, they shut them out. This thing was not announced in the newspapers so that everyone would be there when it would happen. I even
saw one.
And one of them came in shorts. You know, so this is shameful that after you struggle to put someone in power, this is what you get. I feel for Oshomole, but this is an exemplary lesson to him. It's not everyone that you do your best to put in power who will be grateful and who will not betray the confidence you have in him.
GKB, part of what the Obaseki people are saying now is that, look, Oshomole fought tooth and nail to discredit the likes of late Tony Aneni, to discredit Chief Igbenedion, saying that he wanted to demystify the godfathers in the States, that Oshomole is now playing the role of a godfather.
But they were not in APC. They were not in APC.
He's saying that why
so
he has condemned godfatherism in the past. Why does he want to become a godfather?
They were never in APC.
They were not in the
so it's not the same paralysis that
it's free to smash them.
You understand what I'm saying? You are talking about opposition.
That's something you've criticized in the past. You want to lord yourself over them.
Again, personally, and I've told a lot of people this, I lost interest in the Obaseki case the moment he installed people at midnight. Two wrongs does not make a right. The act has not been installed. You are not yet in danger. You've taken your own case. You've preempted what you assume will be a problem for you in the future. And you take an extrajudicial action. You have no case, as far as I'm concerned. Anything he says after that, it doesn't mean anything to me. Because the moment you said that, fine, you will not do it the way every governor is doing it. In the afternoon or in the morning, where everybody will be there. And try to do it at midnight, and then take all of them in the same bus to government house. You have no case.
They had actually told the Edo people to come out to defend the House of Assembly. And it was like calling for anarchy, as in saying that they don't want Abuja influence, that they've already had their structure in Edo State, in House of Assembly, that people should come out and defend that.
Well, you know, in the whole of this, I actually share what Babajide said, which is the fact that we discussed it the last time I was on the program. That look, I think this for us should be one of the, opportunities to learn that godfatherism does not really, at the end of the day, pay either party. First, if you're blaming Oshomole for bringing him, you also have to bring a man who knew above, against all odds that he was not going to become governor, but that he was ready to be imposed on the people and was used. You know that somebody was going to dictate a tune after that since he paid you. You know you were not qualified. I think henceforth people should be able to go seek votes from the people. Because any vote that does not, I don't understand how you went to someone, he foisted you on the people, and then you became governor. You say, I'm not going to take any orders from him. If you wanted to stop that, your power should have
You're not talking about the treasury of the state.
Yeah, you're not talking about
forgetting how you got there.
How you got there, that's one. Two, you also forget completely, you are talking of Abuja influence now, you forgot that if that's what happened, it was the Abuja influence that put it. So it's a contradiction. And so part of the problem is the lessons that are going to come out. I pray they resolve this. A footage of them the other day show Oshomole and, and
Aliko Dangote, Kaide Fayemi. Was that just a photo op?
Well, it looks so, because they were all laughing.
The committee that the president set up has Oshomole, has Obaseki himself, has Dangote, has Kaide Fayemi. So, and the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai. So the president expects them to be able to resolve this matter. Politicians these days, Dangote is not a politician. But you see every conflict, if they cannot resolve it, they send Dangote to go and talk to them.
That's interesting.
Why can't politicians resolve their issues and leave Dangote to face his business? It's shameful. There is no way there has to be a fresh proclamation. What happened was a Jankara inauguration. That it cannot stand.
People who has an opportunity now to.
All right, let's move on now. The policy of protectionism, where countries attempt to shield domestic industries from foreign competition, appears to be sweeping through the globe. The practice is gaining currency in Nigeria, with many making case for the need to protect local businesses. But Nollywood actors turned politician Desmond Olusola Elliott has come under fire for urging the federal government to place a ban on foreign movies in Nigeria. He called for a ban on such movies for Nollywood to thrive. Has divided opinion in the country. Now, while some Nigerians feel the 45-year-old actor meant well for Nollywood, others see his approach as faulty. Iman, let me start from you. What's happening?
Yeah, well, look, there's really nothing wrong with that call. You see, I mean, it's only in Nigeria that, for instance, we allow, I don't know what to call it, some form of open market where first we do not actually have any regards for what is done or made here in Nigeria. We are more concerned about consumption of things outside. Look at even television. Look at what's going on. And part of the way we can, he is talking about content, local content of the Nollywood. That's actually a very good case to make, that we should begin to take pride in the things that we produce here. And that is, if you look at even in the telecommunication, in the broadcast industry, that is what it's the digitalization, efforts seek to deal with. Recently, NBC came under fire just because it was saying that, look, we can't continually rely on DSTV and these other providers for what we can actually do here. We can have our, if we tide over very well and we do our thing here. And Pinnacle Communication, for instance, it's one company that is set to do that, but they run into kind of troubles because they are saying, and if you want to encourage local content, let's say even in broadcast or in the kind of content like Nollywood, Desmond Elliott was talking about, you need to have a situation where we can control such content. We can control them without over-reliance on, platforms that are outside here. But what will shock you is that sometimes you find a situation where people are trying to make such efforts, like NBC. NBC is in the forefront of saying, look, we are going to domesticate the broadcast industry. And they are not even saying that, look, we are going to fend off every competition, but at least give us a fair share, because some of our people can do this thing here.
50-50.
Like when you went to Taraba State, because of the digitization efforts of the governor, you must give him that, of the television there in the state. They have longer hours now, and they can have more content now. They can produce their dramas. In the past, they will produce drama and probably there's no time to actually, but now they have longer hours because of digitization. So what we need to do is get policies like digitization policy, the digital switch over, to encourage it, to ensure that we are controlling the base, the platform where all this is happening. And so our content will get markets, will get places to go to. And that's what we need to encourage. NBC is in the forefront of this. I think it needs, and Pinnacle too, they're in the forefront of that. I think they need a lot of encouragement.
But Babajide, how accessible with this, we are talking about digitalization, and for a long time I've been following the former Minister of Information and their stride in this sector. Now, a place like Lagos, I can tell you for free that, look, half of Lagos, they are relying solely on this terrestrial content, free to air. And how accessible would this be? Nigerians are afraid that...
No, don't forget that the government has a plan to actually give some of those set-up boxes for free, give them out for free. So that's a good base to start. I want to believe that when you give it out for free, and people can see the quality of content, and the content is Nigerian, they are going to pay. See, our people can do better than some of the shitty telenovelas that our people are forced to watch. When we were growing up, you saw Cockroach at Dawn.
Fantastic.
You saw Behind the Cloud. A lot of them. And this one, Dalola Macaulay, that one they used to show on Sundays, Dalola Macaulay.
Ripples.
Not Ripples. Where we had Barbara Soki and the rest of them. We had...
Checkmates.
It's not even Checkmates. That one was a Sunday show. Why is it that I can't remember now?
So Behind the Cloud.
No, not Behind the Cloud. Behind the Cloud actually came from the, from Jobs.
That was when we had...
you had great television back in the day.
Yes, Jobs had this television village. We had some of the best dramatists who were trained. All of them, Sadiq Daba. We have the talent. We have the people. And what NBC is saying is that, look, they are putting greater accent on local content. We can produce something that our people will be glued to, even if it's Yoruba, even if it's in indigenous languages. Maybe in those days, when we used to watch Arelu, people will not go home. They will just sit back and watch it. People were addicted to watching content that is Nigerian.
Yes.
They can identify with it.
Yes, and they can identify with it. So we all of those.
Talents too.
Yes, a lot of those talents. Look at this popular saying that smells. It came out of that show that they used to do on Sunday.
On Sundays,
where we had Barbara Soki and the rest of them. It's not Checkmate. It's Sunday night. It's Sunday night.
The other set, Chikojiro, they were produced at that level by Lola Macaulay.
I was producing that.
And her husband.
And those actually came before the advent of what they call Nollywood today.
They were the foundation for it.
Exactly. But they died along the way because again, I think the problem was first platform, even to actually even showcase and this. But Nollywood came and it was heavy. But even up to now, because of the reliance on foreign movies, foreign platforms, and the rest, and I think what NBC is doing to switch over, I think it will really help, because a situation where, for instance, we're able to have people have platform to take their content to, it will really help.
If it's good, they'll buy it.
Exactly.
But you have to understand that even trying to stop foreign films
for stations under NBC now,
China is the biggest.
They show Nigerian content.
China is the biggest.
You hardly see foreign films on Nigeria,
and they're getting good patronage.
Yeah,
China is the biggest market in terms of population, and what they do to America is very clear. You can only take back 25% of whatever movie you brought here. The same with India, the second largest movie market in the world.
Bollywood.
They still manage to bring in American films, but you can only take back 25%. Whatever other money must be invested in the local cinema. I think we can start with that.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much. Imabelo, thank you for your contribution. Thank you.
Yes.
Osiare, thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Our regards to our area on Okakanfo.
We are working for you.
And the BKO himself, Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Once again, I say congratulations to all our resource people for yet another award. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our YouTube station. That's youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubaku. Bye for now. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.